Thanks for joining this short demo of Through. We'll dive right in and cover a few use cases. In this example, the company has a supply chain with wholesalers, who each has its own warehouse management system. On a monthly basis, the company's headquarters need to send data files to each partner wholesaler for product updates. The company is using Through as its managed file transfer cloud service. We will set up Through so that the headquarters can send the data files to 3 of its wholesalers at the same time. Headquarters retains control of the file exchange, which allows the wholesalers to be completely hands-off in the process. Each of the wholesalers has provided the specific location to receive its files. Let's log into Through and get started. The first step would be to create the organizations that represent the enterprise, called headquarters, and the wholesalers involved in the exchange. Using the vertical menu on the left, navigate to the Organizations view. Click the Add Organization link, enter its name, and the desired information under the tags and description, and then save the organization. We have created the organizations in advance for this demo, so now let's proceed to the next step, which is creating flows. Navigate to the Flows view. A flow is a file exchange process created to deliver files. Once it exists, the sources can make files available to the flow, and the flow routes the files to each target specific location, known as an endpoint. For this demo, we already created one of the flows. As an example, I'm going to click Add Flow and enter a name of Headquarters to Wholesaler Warehouse. Click Save. From here, we can add the subscribers. Clicking Add Subscribers shows the current organizations that are in the system. We can subscribe to all with a single click. We've created this flow as a one-to-many configuration to allow for the delivery of files from the headquarters to many wholesalers. Through can support any combination of sources and targets to create many-to-many flows for specific file exchange use cases. This is where we add the flow endpoints. We attach the organizations and expose their endpoints as sources or targets. In this example, headquarters is selected as the source organization that is going to push files to the wholesalers. We select the Through SFTP server that was previously set up when creating this organization and add it as the source flow endpoint. We can go to the target interface and add the desired target flow endpoints as well. Each wholesaler provided its target destination preferences to the company and was set up when initially creating the organizations. We add each of these as flow endpoints. Now, let's look at how the organization joined the flow. We would use Wholesaler 1 for this. Here we see the subscription of Wholesaler 1 to the flow Headquarters to Wholesaler Warehouse. Note that organizations can be subscribed to any number of flows independently of each other based on the business processes that they require for the file exchange. Organizations can be subscribed to a new flow by clicking Add Subscription. Endpoint management is available by clicking the Endpoints icon on the organization detail page. Wholesaler 1 already has one endpoint created for an SFTP server where it wants to receive its files. An organization can have one or more endpoints. To create a second one, click the Add Endpoint link and complete the requested information for the setup. You can change or add new endpoints at any time by selecting any of the out-of-the-box endpoint types available from the pull-down menu. Endpoints can be added to Through to support virtually any file exchange use case. The most common ones are all flavors of secure FTP, cloud storage, and on-premise file systems. However, we are not going to set up an additional endpoint this time. In this example, we have entered the credentials for the SFTP endpoint as provided by the wholesaler. Returning to the subscriptions view of Wholesaler 1, we can click on the flow name to take us back into Flow Studio. This is where further configuration of the process takes place. This time, we're accessing the target endpoint, since that is how the flow knows where to send the files. In the targets box on the right, we see the 3 flow endpoints that were previously subscribed to this flow. One of the features of Through is that an organization can use multiple endpoints on the same flow. Clicking on Warehouse 1 SFTP flow endpoint opens its editor pop-up so we can continue its configuration. For this wholesaler, it's Warehouse 1 flow endpoint type was set up as an external SFTP. Wholesaler 1 wants the headquarters to place files into a specific folder on its SFTP server continuously as soon as they're available from the headquarters. Let's scroll down to where we can enter the specific flow endpoint target path. Next, let's go to the schedule view, where we can choose the frequency. And in this example, we're going to use on arrival. Now we can go to the alerts tab. Alerts can be set to detect when a delivery has gone beyond the time period. If there are any errors, let's save our changes made in the editor. Now we've configured one of the wholesalers to receive its files. The same steps are followed for every partner that needs to receive files from headquarters. Only one flow is needed for all the partners. With simple onboarding instructions and engagement, a company can add many partners to Fru's file exchange service in minimal time. Now that we've made changes, let's click on the View and Push Changes button. As you can see, you can review the changes that were made prior to pushing them to live. We'll go ahead and push them. We have another partner that we want to send files to at the same time as the original 3. We can create wholesaler 4 and subscribe them to the flow. Adding and naming the organization, and then selecting and defining an endpoint type. Now we can navigate to the subscriptions view and subscribe them to the headquarters to wholesalers warehouse flow. Now that we're subscribed, we can go to Flow Studio and add this flow endpoint as a target. Now that the flow endpoint of wholesaler 4 has been added, we'll go ahead and push our changes again. With the initial flow configuration steps complete, simply configure the endpoint credentials and receiving location. From Flow Studio, we can navigate to the Flows view, and from Flows, we're able to export the flow configuration. We can also export the configuration of SFTP or FTPS connections. Now, in the background, I'm going to import that. I'm going to then push a file, right, which is going to be a catalog. So we've uploaded a single report. From the activity view, we can see that headquarters has uploaded a file called report, which has been made available to the 4 targets. We can see the details of the transfer. We hope this short introduction video of the Fru service has opened your mind to a whole new way of managing file transfers with your extended partner network.